What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie, and today I am sharing with you all of the books that I have accumulated over the past like month or two. Some of these books were for Christmas, some of them I had purchased, some of them were found in free little libraries, and some of them have to do with like reading plans. So I'm very excited to share all the books that I have accumulated over the past month. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So let's talk about the books that I got for Christmas, and I am so sorry I somehow misplaced all the notes. I usually keep them in the book until I read them, so I can't remember who got me what, so I'm so sorry. I know there was quite a few people that bought me some books, and Amazon won't tell me who bought what, but I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for the book gift. So two of the books I got are some Lucinda Berry books. I know Lena got me one of them. I want to say she got me Appetite for Innocence, but I could be wrong. But for Christmas I received two of these gifts, so thank you so much if you sent them to me. I have Missing Parts by Lucinda Berry, and then I also have Appetite for Innocence. So I'm very much excited. If you didn't know, Lucinda Berry is one of my favorite authors. I just love her writing style, and I'm excited to get to her backlist. So for Missing Parts, it says, secrets never safe buried. Growing up abandoned by her father and raised by a single mother, Celeste was determined to create the perfect family, but even perfect families have secrets. Celeste's days are filled with a rewarding career, devoted husband, and her 4-year-old daughter. Only Celeste knows the precarious house of cards her family is built upon until the day her daughter falls critically ill. Celeste's world quickly spirals out of control as her secret threatens to destroy her marriage, family, reputation, and sanity. She'll go to any lengths to protect her family, take any risk, break any laws, anything except tell the truth. So this is really exciting. So this one sounds like it's gonna be a really good domestic thriller. And for Appetite for Innocence, it says, be careful what you post online. Your next check-in might lead him right to you. A serial rapist is kidnapping teenage girls, but he isn't interested in just any teenage girls, only virgins. Sounds pretty dark and messed up if you ask me, so I can't wait to read it. Next, I have The Date from Hell by Gwenda Bond, and I actually have the first book in the copy. I got this from the book outlet when I went to go visit Gwen. So now I have both books in the series, and I believe Gabby from Gabbing About Books gave me this book, so thank you so much. I'm not going to read the synopsis of this one, but I do know that the first book is about a woman whose family owns like a escape room, and there's like a room where it's like a seance witchy type room, and apparently these people barge in because there's a prop in the room that can like summon demons or something. I know this sounds super weird, but I'm getting to it. So they summon this demon, and it's, you know, the love interest. So the love interest is actually the demon, and I think our main character and the love interest have to like work together to like save the world. I have no idea, but it sounds really cute. It's a love story, and then this is the follow-up. So thank you so much, Gabby. The next set of books I have is actually from Gwen, so thank you so much, Gwen. I cannot believe you sent me 2 books. These 2 books that she sent me were not on my Amazon wish list, which I think is even better because she took the time and effort to like think what else would I like that I don't already know about. This one is A Season for Second Chances by Jenny Bayless. This one I know she loved and rated 5 stars, so I'm really excited about this one. I think it's one of those where it's a romance, but it's not about a romance. This one just says, a charming, quick seaside town offers a recently separated restaurateur? Is that a word? A fresh start and possibly a new lease on love. So I think it's someone that is going through kind of a separation with her husband and just kind of like self-discovery in a way in like this small town, and there just happens to be someone. But I do know, if I'm remembering correctly, that this is not a heavy romance, and I think this one the characters are slightly older, which I really appreciate. Not that I'm old, not that I'm young, but I'm coming to realization that I don't really want to read about like new adults and stuff like that, so I'm really excited to read this one. And then this one, I was talking to her and she's like, I totally took a chance because it has a dog on it, and it has what looks like a little pit bull. I'm so excited. This is by Lucy Score. This is Maggie Moves On, which I'm really excited to read. I haven't read anything else by Lucy Score. I do have Things We Never Got Over, which is on my TBR, but this one I'm more excited about because of the dog on the cover, so I'm hoping I love it. This one says, flipping houses sensation and YouTube star Maggie Nichols can't wait to dig into her next challenge. Arriving in a tiny Kinship, Idaho, with only a cot and a coffee maker, Maggie is prepared to restore a crumbling Victorian mansion in 4 months or less. She has her to-do list, her blueprints, and her team. What she doesn't have is time for sexy, laid-back landscaper Silas Wright. Ooh, I love like home projects like HGTV and like things like that, so I'm really excited about this one, so thank you so much, Gwen. And then the next one I have is Sophie Cousins, Before I Do. This one kind of reminds me of Taylor Jenkins Reid, One True Loves, because it's about a woman who is about to get married, and I think like the wedding week or weekend, she's getting ready to get married, and then one of her like friends plus ones is a guy that she was head over heels for, kind of like the one that got away. So she's kind of like debating, should she marry her fiance or should she, you know, figure out, I don't know. It sounds really, really good. And again, I completely lost the notes, so I'm so sorry. But if you got me this gift for Christmas, thank you so much. You did not have to do that, and I'm very appreciative of it. Oh, I almost forgot there was one more, and again, I have lost the note, so I am so sorry. But this is Every Last Secret by A.R. Torre. I am a little hesitant to go into this one because I read this author's most recent book. I think it was A Familiar Stranger, and I did not like that book at all. I've heard a good mixture of like good things and just okay ratings, but not like anything bad, so I'm really excited about this one. This one says, our main character has worked hard to get what she has, a gorgeous home, social standing, and William, her successful handsome husband. Then a friendly new couple moves into the estate next door. While cautious, a good neighbor like Kat greets them with an open arms and warm hospitality. Nina Ryder isn't a fellow lady of leisure, a life coach with off-the-rack dresses, personal issues, and a husband who hasn't delivered. She's anxious to move up in the world. The beautiful new town is a step in the right direction. It's also making Nina aware of what she doesn't have, namely William. When Nina's infatuation escalates into obsession, it's just a matter of eliminating a few obstacles to get the life she wants, the life next door. I like instantly got like the Last Mrs. Parrish vibe, so like I'm excited about this one. This one may have to get read real soon now. I found another one that was gifted for Christmas. I believe Jordan from Sorry Book Solid gave me this one, so thank you again, Jordan, if you did, or if you got me any of the books that I mentioned. This is And There He Kept Her, and this one has been on my TBR for so long, and I'm so excited to finally have this one. This one says, they thought he was a helpless old man, and they were wrong. When two teenagers break into a house on a remote lake in search of prescription drugs, what starts as a simple burglary turns into a nightmare for all involved. Emmett Burr has secrets he's been keeping in his basement for more than 2 decades, and he'll do anything to keep his past from being revealed. Also, he gets the upper hand on his tormentors, the lines blurred between predator, prey, and protector. So, sounds like he's keeping someone in the basement, and it kind of reminds me of that one movie. I'll have to try to pop it up right here, but it reminds me of that one movie where these people break into this blind man's home and they're trying to escape and there's things in the basement. It's giving me those vibes, so I'm really excited to read this one. Okay, moving on. I think I've covered all my Christmas books. So again, if you gifted me any books, thank you so much. It means so much to me. All right, so this book is something that I purchased myself. It is Malice House by Megan Shepherd, and this will be our February Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick. I'll post the photo right here. Me and Keisha from A Book Like You will be buddy reading this book and also discussing it on my channel during the live show. So if you guys are interested in my book club, I do have a link down below with all the information, including my Discord channel where me and Keisha will be chatting in the month of February about this book. This one, I'm not sure if it's like thriller or horror, but I remember reading the description, and it's about a woman whose father has recently passed away. She's trying to clean up his home, and she comes across like an unpublished manuscript for like bedtime stories for monsters, I believe is what it's called. And so she decides to like publish the book. I think she's like an illustrator, and then something to do with like the story kind of blurs in with reality. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited to read this one and also excited to discuss it with Keisha. The next one I want to talk about is something that I found in a free little library, and I literally like screamed. I think I was Marco Poloing a friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I found this book. But it is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I have read, I believe, 2 books by Grady Hendrix, and one I did not like and one I actually really loved. So I'm excited to read this one because I feel like the people who have said if you liked My Best Friend's Exorcism, you're going to like this one slightly just as much. So I'm really excited. Also, it's been a while since I've read like a vampire story, so I'm excited. And to find it in like a free little library, a hidden gem. I'm not 100% sure what this one's about. I think it's told in the 90s, but it's about these like suburban, like Southern moms or women, and they think their neighbor may be a vampire, and like, I don't know. That's all I really know. That's all I really want to go into this one. The next one I got is Twice in a Lifetime by Melissa Baird. I did a whole dedicated video about Aardvark Book Club, which I will also link that down below in case you're curious. So in that video, I decided to gift 2 books to a free little library and then also keep one for myself. This is the one that sounded the most interesting to me. This one is about a woman who moves into a new city, and she's not really looking for love, but then all of a sudden she starts getting these text messages from this guy. He says he's from the future and that he's her husband, and of course she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then he sends a photo of them 2 on their wedding day, and so apparently he's like mourning the loss of her, of something that either happened or maybe they separated, so he's trying to, you know, fix that, I guess you can say. But she's also trying to like see where her life is going to go. I'm not 100% sure, but this one just sounds so freaking good and I can't wait to read it. The next one I want to read is Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. This is actually my most recent purchase, and I'm really excited to read this one. I actually found this one like 5 days before the publishing date at Barnes & Noble, so I was really excited about that. This is probably going to be my next read after I'm reading my current book. I want to read this one for the New Year New Reads readathon that's currently going on right now. This will be the newest book on my TBR, obviously. I love Mary Kubica's writing style, so I'm really excited to read more of her backlist this year. That's one of my like small mini goals, and this one just sounds so good, and it looks like a really short read. This one was also on my highly anticipated reads. I did a whole video on that as well. Again, I will link that video down below in case you're curious. But this one I believe has to do with a woman and her husband have this argument. He leaves the house, she thinks he's blowing off steam, but then like a few days later he never returns. She can't find him, she can't get a hold of him. And there's another married couple where the wife thinks she's the last one to see that other husband before he went missing. Like she was the last one to see him alive, and this woman and her husband have decided to not say anything, but the missing husband's wife is determined to find him. I believe that's what it's about. Sounds very vague, but I'm really excited to read this one. The next one I actually picked up on a whim from Walmart. It's All the Dark Places by Terry Perletto, I think is how you say the last name. This one I've seen on NetGalley for the longest time, and I don't know what it is, but like when I see NetGalley arcs and it's by an author that I don't know or haven't heard of anything about the book, I'm like, eh. But once you physically see it in store, I'm like, I should have requested that. But this one sounds really good. I love the cover, like the blue and the yellow just sound really good. This one says, snow falls softly outside Molly Bradley's home in a frigid January night. Inside, half a dozen close friends are gathered to celebrate the 40th birthday of Molly's psychologist husband, Jay. Candlelight gleams against dark wood, wine flows, and the house rings with laughter. Everyone loves Jay, Molly most of all. Yet next morning, Molly discovers Jay dead on the floor of his office, his throat brutally slashed. So this one sounds like a kind of like a whodunit situation. It does involve a detective, which kind of makes me a little worried about going into it, but I'm willing to give it a chance, so we'll see. The next set of books I want to talk about is my January Book of the Month box. I ended up getting 3 books. The first one I want to talk about is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. I read this book from the library and I loved it, gave it 5 stars. It actually made my top 10 favorite books of the year. So I wanted to own my own copy, and getting it as an add-on from Book of the Month in a hardcover edition is just the easiest and best price personally for me. I do have like a code down below for book of the month if you guys are curious in joining. It does get you a slight discount and also gives me a little bit of something as well. When this book first came out, I heard the words like fantasy and I was like, nope, I'm good. But this one honestly doesn't really have that many fantastical items. I think there's like one specific, actually maybe two little things, but honestly, if I can handle it, you can handle it. I personally feel like you should read this book kind of blindly, so that's how I'm going to present it to you. But Gwen actually spoiled this whole book by my request and gave me all the details. It sounded so good. I picked it up and I read it and I gave it 5 stars. So I wanted my own copy, so now it's going on my bookshelf. The next book I want to talk about is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, and I actually just finished this one. This was my most previous read, and guys, I loved this book. It was so good. Honestly, when I was going through the book of the month selections, I picked this one just because it was the thriller pick, but this book is so good. I don't know if it's just me kind of like loving this book and not hearing anyone else talk about it, but I absolutely love this book. And I know it's still early of the year. We're only like 2 weeks into the year, and this honestly could make my top 10 of the year. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this one as like my reading goes, but it is so good. I loved this book. This one is about 3 girls who, when they were 11 or 12, they played in the woods and they had this like made up world, you know, just typical like preteen things that they did in the woods. Well, one day there was a man who viciously attacked one of them, stabbed her 17 times, and she ended up living. And then her and her 2 friends ended up putting this guy behind bars, but it's very clear from the very beginning that they lied about something. So now you're trying to figure out what was the truth, who can you trust. And this story had so many like plot twists, and I absolutely loved it. It makes me want to pick up more books by this author, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on her. And then the last book that I got from book of the month is The Reunion by Kayla Olson. I've never heard of this book or this author before, but it sounds really, really cute. From what I remember, this one is about 2 people who were on this hit TV show, and I think on the show their characters were kind of in love, but like it didn't work out, and then they were also kind of in love like off screen, but nothing ever happened. Now the show is getting a reboot, so it's kind of like a second chance for their on TV characters and off TV characters. So I'm so excited. I think I'm going to try to read this one in February. And then the last book that I want to talk about is You Must Remember This by Kate Rosenfield, or Kat Rosenfield. This one is on my most anticipated reads that I just, you know, posted a video about, because it says it's a Knives Out whodunit with a twist of Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like that right there, just solely based on that sentence, hooked me, and I was like, okay, I need to know like what this is about. From what I remember, it's like an elderly lady who like is pretty rich, and she ends up walking outside, going in her backyard into the woods, and she slips and falls through the ice of this like pond or lake, and no one knows if it was suicide, murder, they don't know. So now the whole family has to come together, and basically it's kind of like a whodunit clue type of thing. It also mentions that the reason why she went out into the woods near this pond or lake is because that's where her secret lover when she was young used to meet up. So I'm thinking that's where the Taylor Jenkins Reid plot comes in, but we'll see. I'm so sorry. I actually have one more, which I'm so embarrassed to not have mentioned this one, but I have X's and O's by Amy Lee. This is also like a slight announcement again that I am hosting a readathon called X's and O's with my friends Gwen, Lena, Lauren, and Summer. We have a Discord. I will try to link all that stuff down below, including the announcement video. But for the X's and O's readathon, we are reading X's and O's by Amy Lee. I cannot tell you the drama of me trying to get this book, but I finally got this book. But this is the buddy read for the X's and O's readathon, like I mentioned. This is about a romance book lover who is also like a 5-stage clinger, who also gets her sexy fireman roommate to kind of help her like I guess, go through her past relationships to figure out what worked and what didn't work. And it's a romance between them. And by the author, this is a forced proximity, so it also, you know, covers that prompt for the readathon. So I'm very excited to read this book coming up very shortly. All right, guys, those are all the books that I have recently collected and put on my shelf. If you've made it this far into the video, go ahead and leave the like stack of money flying away, because obviously book buying has caused this video. So make sure you leave that emoji down in the comments down below. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling.